Welcome to the Brantford Public Library's challenge, Brantford Reads Diverse Books, where we challenge you to find amazing reads. We want you to discover new characters, stories, and authors. Join the reading challenge at brantfordlibrary.readsquared.com. Kids, families, and teens are all welcome to join. This video's featured author is Andre Fenton. It's great to have Andre with us to share about his writing process and favorite books you might also enjoy. Andre is an award-winning author and spoken word artist who lives in Halifax, Nova Scotia. He has represented Halifax at 7 national poetry festivals across Canada. Andre has written a collection of poetry called Ode to Teen Angst and 2 novels, Worthy of Love and Annika. Our first question is, why do you write?
Hi everyone, my name is Andre Fenton. I am an author and poet from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I've written 2 young adult novels, Worthy of Love and Annika. And I guess this first question, why do I write? Growing up, I was always that kid that had the journal, the pen, pieces of paper, pencil, notepad, and I would write whatever came to my mind. I would spend a lot of my times writing about my dreams, either from the most outrageous things of aliens attacking my city to doing other things like trying to rewatch a movie or a certain scene that I like to try to figure out what made it so magical for me. And I had this giant passion of unraveling, trying to understand certain narratives. I took it with me for a long time. And I was in grade 12. I discovered the art of spoken word poetry, not realizing how much of an impact that would have on my career. And my advice for young writers is that you think you might be going one direction, but don't be afraid to try something new. I was so sure of myself. I was just going down this road of fiction before I fell into the realm of spoken word poetry and hitting up poetry slams. But one thing I learned is that trying new things really helps you find your voice and really helps build your narrative and your writing and just makes your voice stronger. So don't be afraid to try new things, because at the end of the day, your voice matters in whatever medium you decide to write in or perform in. So just give it a shot.
Our second question is, where do you get ideas for stories?
So where do I get my ideas for my stories? I'm the type of writer that likes to stick to the phrase, write what you know. I'm sure you've heard this before. So a lot of my stories I draw from real life experiences, like my first novel, Worthy of Love, which is about a young man struggling with body image, eating disorders, being overweight. And when I first started writing that, I really thought to myself, what were things that I was insecure about in high school? And it was a lot of those things. And growing up, I never really had much access to diverse books or characters that reminded myself of me. So I thought as a young writer, it's kind of my responsibility to build that representation into the world. So I started writing the character of Adrian as he kind of fell on his journey of what it means to love yourself and finding that self-love. And I think that's a story a lot of us can relate to in so many different ways, even if we don't quite know it yet. And it was such a joy to put that out into the world and the impact it made for students who needed to hear it or needed to read it. My second novel, Annika, is a fantasy novel about a young woman returning to her hometown after being away for 10 years because of the death of her grandfather. As she returns to her hometown, she runs into her childhood imaginary friend, uh, Clay. He had grown up while she was away, and I really thought of that as a love letter to nostalgia and to really kind of go through the stages of grief, because when I lost my grandmother, I felt a lot of the same feelings that Annika went through, and I really tried to translate that into page to really connect to other young people who are going through the same thing.
Our last question is, what are your favorite reads?
So, what are some of my favorite reads? I love this question, but feel sad knowing I'm condensing it down to 3 recommendations, so let's jump right into it. My first pick is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I read this book fairly recently, and it was such a stark, harsh reminder of what it means to be a young black teenager in today's world, especially from the perspective of Starr, who lost a friend in such a horrific way, and dealing with the aftermath of being pulled in so many different directions, being told how to use her voice, and dealing with other topics such as having people that she thinks are her friends, but turns out they don't really support her. It is such a harsh reality for a lot of young black folks, and I think this book is life-changing. If you haven't read it, please do. My second pick is Thanks a Lot, Universe by Chad Lucas. This is his debut novel that takes place in the city that Chad and I both share. I really love the characters of Ezra and Brian as Chad created unforgettable moments in this really awesome story. Please pick it up if you haven't yet. And lastly, this is one of my favorite YA books of all time. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. This is about two young men who journey and discover things about themselves in one of the most important times of their lives. And I really love these storms of teen angst that all these authors have created, and they're all relatable in their own ways. And if you haven't read them, please check them out at your library. These are all three great, diverse books that I think everybody needs to read. Thank you so much.
That was Andre Fenton. Thank you for sharing a bit about yourself. You can find more from Andre on Instagram at Andre Fenton Author. You can find any of the books mentioned in this video, including favorites, in the library catalog, Libby, or Hoopla. Don't forget to join the Brantford Reads Diverse Books Challenge at brantfordlibrary.readsquared.com or the handy ReadSquared app. Here you can track each challenge you complete and earn points towards a prize draw for completing challenges. If you don't know what to read, borrow a Diverse Books book bundle. For each bundle, we've selected 5 books that will help you complete the challenge. For more videos from the Brantford Public Library, make sure to click subscribe or visit brantfordlibrary.ca.